He loves cars just a little bit. And when I asked him about himself, he said that he's been a member of San Jose Toastmasters for the past 2 years. He's sitting with the person, Darren, who brought him into Toastmasters, and he's very appreciative that Darren did that. He feels like he's improved a lot by being part of Toastmasters. He's also very thankful to Len and Doug and Sherry and Jeff for sharing their knowledge and helping him continue to improve as a speaker. So on his behalf, thank you to all of you and to everybody else who's helped Shane. And he said that what he thinks is really interesting about April Fools is that in 1979, Iran declared April 1st as its National Republic Day, and he said that till today some people still think that this was mistaken for a joke, which is interesting to him. His speech title is Significant Strangers. Significant Strangers. Please help me welcome Shane Leung. Oh my gosh. Let me do it last time. I'm going to do one more redo to be what he says. His title is Aftershock. I don't know what's up with me today.
That's significantly stranger than the first time.
It's preposterous. Okay. Please help me welcome Shane. Aftershock. Aftershock.
Joe's going to help. Please pass it on. Ladies and gentlemen, on a unusually hot afternoon, later in the summer, a truck driver was on his way home. He was anxious to see his beautiful wife and adorable kids, one girl and one boy, both at the age of 7. As he was driving by the long railroad track, he saw a swarm of dragonflies, literally in the thousands, fleeing in the opposite direction. A little strange, he thought, as he has never seen just a thing like this in his life. Little did he know that later in the evening, everything would change. On 3:42 a.m., July 28, 1976, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake has struck Tangshan, China. It is to believe to be the largest earthquake of the 20th century by death toll, nearing the estimated figure around 250,000 people have died. Getting back to our truck driver, the building he lives in has totally collapsed, and he was killed when he was trying to save his family. His wife, though, was lucky enough to escape. And as the rescuer came to the aid, she had to face a really difficult dilemma. The twins were stuck under a concrete wall. Both of them were still conscious, and both of them were crying for help. She had to decide which child to save first. It is the toughest decision anyone could make, as whoever gets saved first most likely will kill the other. She was crying to the rescuer, "Can you save both? Both of them are my flesh and blood." The rescuer said, "We are sorry, you cannot do such thing. You have to decide, the boy or the girl. And you have to decide soon too, because there are many, many other people that want our help." So finally, after a long, long pause, she uttered out the words, "Save the little girl." When the little girl heard the words from her mouth, she was totally stunned. In the weight of the concrete wall came down to her, her fragile body, and the world has turned dark. A couple of weeks ago, we have witnessed the largest earthquake has ever struck Japan. And soon after there was a tsunami, and we all see in the images on the TV, it was surreal images. How can anyone survive is definitely beyond preposterous. Now, the scene I just described to you is actually from a movie called Aftershock. It was one of the best movies of 2010. It made almost $100 million in revenue. And surprisingly, it was one of the best movie ever came out in the country of China. Now, 2010 was a record year for the Chinese movie industry. On the other hand, I don't think I could say the same for the Hollywood studios these days. You see, if you look at the chart that I provide to you, 2010 was actually a down year for Hollywood. Ticket sales was down to 1.04 billion compared to 1.32 billion in 2009 and 1.42 billion in 2008. Now, there are many factors that can contribute to this decline. For starter, ticket price has gone up a lot for the past decade. I remember still back in 2000, the average movie ticket price is only around $5.50. And compared to today's average ticket price, which is over $8, that's an increase of almost 107%. As we all know, the economy is still in the recovery and is slow getting back on its feet. So, of course, a lot of people are not inclined to go to theaters as much as they like. On the other hand, though, I think a bigger factor of why people are less interested in going to theater is because the movie studios are simply not making more interesting movies. If you flip on the other side of the chart, you can look at the top 30 movies that was grossed in the year 2010. And I took the liberty of looking at those movies and came up with this conclusion. There are a few things in common in those movies. First, the storyline is almost the same. It's almost always good versus evil. And the good obviously always wins. The hero always find a way to escape all these obstacles harmless, and at the end he always gets the girl. It's the feel-good storyline obviously, but it gets overplayed way too many times. If you look at the top 30 films, 19 of 30 of those films are actually fall into those categories. And another factor I think is common in those movies are it uses a lot of computer-generated images. Now, I am not against anything technology being used in movies. I think it's a great way to enhance the movie. It helps to make it more realistic, and the surrounding gets capture the audience into the movie more. But creating effects often doesn't equal to interesting story. The action may be very exciting for you to watch, but oftentimes the movie studios spend the money in the effects, but neglect on the stories that they're trying to tell. So as the summer is fast approaching, I hope the movies directors this year could actually do something to make more dramas for us to co-watch. And make less of those infomercials that's on the screen these days. There are a couple of things I want to encourage everyone to try. One thing is actually reading, which I discovered is way more stimulating than going to a theater to watch, sitting there 2 hours, and then watching the same storyline over again. It's very stimulating experience for everyone. Another thing that I want to encourage everyone is try movies from different regions. Foreign movies there are plenty of high quality movies all over the world, and you will learn a lot of different things from it. So finally, I want to get back to the story of the Aftershock. When the darkness has fallen to the little girl's world, and she thought she was dead. But only hours later, it turns out she was awoken by the raindrops from the sky. She found she was standing up right next to her father's body in a field of bodies. She has survived. And the question is, can she ever forget? Can she ever forgive what her mother's decision? So I encourage you to check out the movie. It's called Aftershock. I think it's very good.